This is Tim Shay. Welcome to another edition of the Non-Sport Collective. This is the second one of our interviews with an artist, and today we have Chadwick Haverland with us, who's a very talented artist, and welcome, Chadwick.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your art, and what got you interested in art in the first place, and how did you get into sketch cards?
Well, I've been working in art pretty much my entire life. Got going with it pretty much as far back as I can remember. Just as a kid, art was something that always interested me and was just something that came, I guess, naturally. Mm-hmm. And I actually started out my professional career back, I want to say 8-9 years ago. Got involved in sports and the event industry, doing work for a lot of pro athletes, entertainers, and different companies there. Cool. And then learned about sketch cards. It was about, I believe in 2007, was when I kind of found out about sketch cards, when Marvel started inserting sketch cards in some of their products. I was a bit of a collector, and that's pretty much how I found out about it there. And basically started looking into it and found that there were, groups online and different forums. And, started looking into it, and basically it's kind of, I guess, how I got into it there.
Yeah, I've seen some of your sports pieces. Those look really pretty killer. They look like you had a lot of graphite in them. Is that ink or mostly graphite?
Mainly graphite. Yeah, it's been my medium of choice pretty much, since I got into art. It's just one of those things, one of those mediums. You have your medium that you just naturally like to go with.
Right.
And just naturally, is one of those things. I'm a black and white guy. I love working in black and white, and it's just one of those, I don't know, it's just one of those mediums that's always worked for me. Doing color's okay. But black and white, it's just one of those mediums that I've always, liked using and liked working with.
That's cool. I've seen some of the ones you did where you have a graphite sketch and then you have like part of it colors to make it really pop, but then most of it is in blacks and whites.
Yeah, that's where there was when it came to that, there was I was trying to come up with a new style or a new type of work. For events, because when you're doing events and sports events, you have a lot of real tight deadlines. There's a lot of times when they need artwork, pretty much overnight. So, and they want, high quality, looking work. And, so I needed to come up with something that was going to allow me, to not only work, at a quick pace, but also come up with something that would resemble something like a painting without having to actually go in and do the painting. And so that's where I came up with kind of that style there, where it's it's all pencil work, but it's the combination of the black and white with the offset color.
Right. Yeah, it turns out killer.
Yeah, and that's where I came up with that and started working with that, and it kind of took off, and everybody was hitting me up for that. They all wanted that at all the events. And so that's
when you say events, how did you get into that? What kind of events were they for?
Just basically, athletes and entertainers, organizations, all the above. They all have their personal events or, certain exclusive events, and charity events that they all run and they all need products for. Have a personal brand that needs to be catered to. And oftentimes, they need products that are portable, or small, or, it all depends really on the event.
Right.
But basically it's coming up with, different products that cater to their brand. Whether it be prints or whether it be original artwork or whether it be artwork for, an image that they're using. What I do is I basically cater to all their needs, and cater to their personal brand, but also offer services that are aimed at creating new revenue opportunities for them through the artwork.
That's cool.
So we come up with a lot of different ways to basically help them make money or help their charities make money. That way, that's pretty much what I do there. with the events and with the different athletes and entertainers, and it's there's a big market out there for that. A lot of them run private auctions, and they also do they're private auctions, and there's some that run the silent auctions, and they do live auctions also. That's one area that there's a big market for there. A lot of them, that's the way they come up with a lot of the money as far as the athletes' charities go. Is one of the big ways they raise money there. And so, we do a lot of different things to help out there.
Killer.
And outside of that.
And you said when you got into sketch cards, the Marvel Beginnings, was that the first one you worked on, or the?
The first set, I want to say, there were two sets that I got offered at about the same time. I believe it was the Walking Dead Season 1 set. And then I want to say it was the Marvel Beginnings Series 2, I believe, were the two sets that I got started on. There might have been one other one right in between there, but as far back as I can remember, that was a couple of years back.
It's hard to reach back sometimes.
Especially when you have a lot of projects going. Yeah, it can add up pretty quick.
Yeah, I remember seeing that was when I first saw your work was on The Walking Dead, and it really stuck out.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a fun set to do. It was fun.
Have you worked on any of the subsequent Walking Deads, or just on season 1?
No, it was just season 1. I mean, for reasons, for certain reasons, yeah.
Well, the ones you did for 1 turned out good, so that's good.
Yeah, it was just, I just kept it to 1. The one there.
And then you did a Marvel Fleer retro set?
Yeah, recently, that was one of the recent sets. I believe was the end of last year was Marvel Fleer Retro. Worked on that one. That one was pretty cool, and that one ended up being a big hit with collectors. There was a lot of hits, coming out of that the collectors were loving, and that was a good set to work on there. And then the Captain America Winter Soldier set is one that's coming out. It should be coming out in the next week or two.
And then before we go on too much more, do you have an online portfolio or anything where people could view your work and check out more?
Yeah, they can check out my website, chadwickhaverlandart.com. We don't always keep it as up to date as, say, Facebook or, the social accounts, but they can find like a lot of my work on there at chadwickhaverlandart.com, or go to Facebook. You can find me on Facebook through my art page or the personal page. And then Twitter and Instagram. I'm always on those two. Probably the best places to find me is Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, and then for anybody watching this video, we will have all of his contact information listed below, so you can check it out and follow his work. Do you have any inspirations for your art? Is there any artists or any other things that inspire you when you do your work?
Man, as far as work, I get inspired by everything, man. I mean, whatever I might be watching on TV, music, whatever I might be reading. I get a lot of inspiration from comics, from people, you name it. Other artists' work, that inspire me, Jusko, Ron Stark. Ron Stark is an awesome artist. He hasn't done any real sketch card work, but he's big in the trading card world on the sports side. Him, Jusko, Frazetta, there's a lot of different artists that have really inspired me and really, inspired me to get in and push traditional art versus digital, because I also studied digital art and graphic design back when I was in school. But it was a lot of their work that really inspired me and pushed me to go after the traditional art.
You said you had some digital training. Was that like formal training?
Yeah, at the Art Institute of Phoenix is. I studied there for about 2 years before I decided, to drop out from there and pursue traditional art and basically get my own business and get things going there and pursue my career in sports and entertainment and doing that. And it's worked out pretty well,
With the different mediums you've worked with, is graphite still your favorite?
Yeah, of all the mediums, graphite is still my favorite. I love working with graphite.
Yeah.
It's definitely something. I mean, I've always worked with pencil. I've never really been one. I've never really taken up painting. I've painted from time to time, but for whatever reason, I don't know why it is, I just haven't taken to painting much. It's just, pencil has always been what I've loved working with. Just the way it blends everything. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's nice.
I'm the same way. I feel that I'm too impatient for painting. It's like I don't know if I could wait for it to dry. I want to keep going.
Right. Always tweaking it.
But I do want to try more digital. That seems like it'd be fun though.
Yeah. The digital art, I mean, there's some artists out there that do some amazing work. You know, it's like you look at it and I can't even fathom how they come up with that. You know how they do what they do. But
I'm the same way.
It's an awesome medium.
It's like you see it and you just think, man, that I need to learn how to do that.
Right.
I haven't learned yet. I have my niches, but with me, I was the same way, doing black and white all my life, and then I didn't want to do color. I was kind of forced to do it. So I like it now, but black and white was most of my life.
Yeah. Same deal here.
Do you ever step outside of your comfort zone on projects, like work in something that you're not really comfortable with at all, but just make it work?
Yeah, I mean, there's times that I do that. There's times I would say, I guess with women sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not one of those guys that draws or likes to create women, you know, in a real, I guess, you know, I don't really draw women in, you know, the real seductive poses. I'm one of those artists. I like creating, you know, realism and adding, I guess, kind of that creepy or maniacal element to certain characters. Mm-hmm. So women aren't necessarily one of those, you know, they're not those types of characters that I typically like to work with.
I guess it depends on which women you're using as reference.
Right, pretty much, yeah, because I'm one of those. I use a lot of reference material when I'm creating my work, and you know, I don't like to, you know, create those real, you know, those types of characters, mm-hmm. you know. But yeah, I would say women sometimes, but yeah, there are times where you have to step outside mm-hmm. Of that comfort zone, and you have to create, you know, those certain characters because that's what you have to do.
Right.
And outside of that, I mean, landscapes are something I've never really liked to do also. Mm-hmm. You know, but there's been times, especially on the sports side, where a client will go and want, like, say, a landscape done or a portrait of like, say, a golf course or a golf hole or something like that.
Right.
And there's been a couple times where that's happened, and you just got to kind of bite the bullet and go with it.
Right, absolutely. What's your favorite kind of subjects to draw? I mean, other than, like, is there like a certain genre that you like, comic related or horror related, or is there something that you really are passionate about?
I love horror. I mean, like, I've always been a big sports fan. I've always been a big comic fan. I grew up on horror stuff. I mean, mm-hmm. so all the above. Mm-hmm. But as of recently, I've really just gotten into drawing horror stuff. You know, anything that's really detailed. You know, just the gory stuff. You know, same maniacal characters, just characters that have, you know, just that crazy side to them.
Right.
You know, that you really bring that out on.
Right.
You know, those are pretty much, you know, characters that I like to draw. I mean, like, you'll see, like, when I draw Green Goblin, one of the reasons why Green Goblin is one of my favorite characters is he has one of those maniacal sides that are unlike a lot of other characters in comics.
Right.
And you can make him look really creepy, you know, really crazy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like to do.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, you mentioned comics. Which comics were you influenced by?
I was big. I would say I was one of those kids that grew up in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in the mid 90s. So it was X-Men was the big one with me. Mm-hmm. As far as comics went, that was probably the big title there. And yeah, I got real into X-Men. And that's where, you know, with trading cards and all that, at that time, trading cards, like, they had the X-Men sets that would come out. Mm-hmm. And they also had the Marvel Masterpieces sets back in 92, 93. And that's where I found Marvel cards at that time. Uh-huh. That got me collecting non-sports cards. Right about that time was the early 90s when I got into non-sport card collecting.
So you're a collector as well as an artist?
Yeah, I'm a collector. Not quite as often. I wouldn't say I collect quite as much as I used to. Mm-hmm. Just because of, you know, time constraints and family. But yeah, it's cool because I have kids now, and, you know, I'm able to share that with my kids, and we're now getting, you know, we've gotten my kids into collecting Marvel cards, and a couple of them are into Pokemon cards and doing all that. So So it's
cool.
cool to be able to share that.
Yeah, I've had four kids, and all of them have gotten into cards at some point. Usually the Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, something like that. So it expands on and on.
Yeah, it just keeps going. Yeah, it's me. I have 4 also, so yeah, I know how it is. They're all still young. We've got the older 2 that are getting into it now, getting into collecting and things. So that, and then they get to see, their dad, working on, artwork for these different sets, and it's just cool to be able to share that. And it's cool that you see the inspiration in them also. Like my oldest son, he's always watching me draw. And, he's a big Marvel fan, so it's a big thing for him to be able to see his dad, drawing artwork for these different sets and things.
Mm-hmm. Do your kids have an artistic side?
Yeah. At this point, my oldest, he's taken right after me. I mean, pretty much everything I was doing, back when I was his age. He's 6 now. But since he was little, like me, he was drawing on the walls, and he's always been drawing. I mean, just everywhere. It's just one of those things. He's taken after me, and
that's great.
He sees me working, on the artwork, and he'll come in. He'll be in the studio, next to me. He'll sit down, whether it's on the floor or in a chair. He'll pull up a chair and he'll start drawing right next to me.
Maybe he could do the landscapes on the back of your cards.
Yeah, he can help out with that.
You really need to do landscapes, son. They're awesome. Have fun.
Yeah, I need to get him trained, get him working on that.
Like an assembly line.
Yeah, get the other 3 working on it too. We'll have it going. Yeah, instead of the basketball team, we'll have the art studio going.
Indentured servitude will help.
Yeah.
Is there any interesting fun facts about your art other than the sports events you've worked on? Any cool things that's come from the art?
As far as trying to think back, I mean, I've got to meet a lot of great people. Mm-hmm. I got to meet a lot of people that I grew up idolizing, whether it be some other artists or athletes. Like I was a big Denver Bronco fan, and I got the opportunity to meet John Elway, Terrell Davis, and there's not a lot of people that I would say I get, I guess, overly excited about, or I guess have a fangasm over.
Right. Right.
But when I met, these guys that I had idolized, when I was younger, that was a big, I think, a big moment for me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was one of those things, you're kind of tongue-tied when you meet them, and it was a cool experience meeting them.
That's cool. Do you prefer to draw on licensed sets or ones that you can just use your own imagination on?
See, that really depends. It's really wherever there's a market. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty much looking to go. I like the licensed sets because a lot of them are subjects that I relate to, or subjects that, I follow.
Right.
Whether it be Marvel or whether it be, The Walking Dead or American Horror Story or different shows, those are things that I'm into. And, you have to be inspired. I mean, for me, the big thing for me when I'm creating work is I like to create work that I'm inspired to create.
Absolutely.
And that's where, you draw a lot of your inspiration from the things that you watch and the things that you see or whatever's around you. And so sets like that are usually the ones that I go after.
Yeah, and those are the ones that really get popular too, because then the people who collect them connect with the scene that you nailed on the drawing, and it's like, oh man, that part was badass or whatever.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, whether it's, sports, entertainment, no matter whatever it is, there's got to be that connection with the collector.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's typically what's going to make it, of value to somebody, is because it has that attached to it.
Do you have any projects that you can discuss that are coming up in the near future that people will see your work on?
Well, upcoming, we've got the Captain America Winter Soldier set. I mentioned that. Mm-hmm. That one should be coming out, I believe. It's within the next couple of weeks because we've got the movie coming out in the next week or so. You can find my work on there. Did some awesome stuff there. I'm proud of some work that I did on that set. We've also confirmed for Guardians of the Galaxy with that set, so I'll be starting work on that here pretty soon.
Awesome.
And as of late, it's been a lot of Marvel work, but I have signed on recently to work on some projects for Breygent. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some awesome sets there, some awesome work, some awesome exclusives. that you're going to be able to get at like San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, there's some things there. So it's really cool. And then we're also working on expanding and getting my product line of work and prints, sketch covers, things like that. Working on getting that and working with a lot of the different actors and popular entertainers in the entertainment industry, you know, whether it be Walking Dead actors or those guys, working on getting some work out there and working with those guys and their management, getting some things going there. So it's pretty exciting there also.
Killer. You mentioned San Diego Comic-Con. I know Tom from Breygent likes to keep artists busy for artwork that's going to be exclusive for the con. Are you going to appear there?
No, I won't be going to San Diego Comic-Con. I actually haven't been able to do that show just yet. It's one of those real big shows. Mm-hmm. But just to be honest, I would probably, my first time being at San Diego Comic-Con, I'd probably rather be there as a spectator versus as an artist, just so I can kind of take everything in.
Yeah, it's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot there from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And just the nostalgia of it all. I would just like to be there just to take it all in.
Do you participate in conventions in your area in Arizona?
Oh yeah, this year we've really upped the convention schedule. Like you can catch me basically from coast to coast. Yeah, the upcoming shows I'll be at, we'll be at Salt Lake City Comic-Con coming up in a couple of weeks. After that, we've got Amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con. The Amazing Comic-Con shows are awesome shows. Jimmy J does a good job with those. A couple of the other shows coming up after that, Phoenix Comic-Con, C2E2 is another one I'll be at. And, it's a long list. We've got a lot of shows we're doing this year and we're excited to be out and, meeting a lot of the fans and collectors out at those shows.
Excellent. Well, everyone watching this video knows where they can go and catch you and try to get some originals or commission you for a personalized sketch.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, I sure appreciate having Chadwick Haverland on here with us today on the Non-Sport Collective. Chadwick, if you want to go ahead and give everybody your contact information one more time so they know where to catch your work.
Yeah, you can find me, look me up on Twitter or Instagram. Twitter, my handle is C Haverland Art. My handle on Instagram is Chadwick Haverland Art. And then you can find me on my website at chadwickhaverlandart.com, or you can find me on Facebook. We have both the fan page and the personal page on there, so you can go and add me on there also.
Excellent. Well, it's been great talking to you, man. Keep up the killer work, and thank you very much. And we'll be in touch with more artists here soon on the Non-Sport Collective. Thank you, everybody, for watching.